from Palm Beach, again, with Tyron behind us, because we're going to be talking about it quite a bit. And I think we're going to begin very quickly because he's very busy and we've got a lot to cover. We have Dr. Maria with us. But tomorrow is a very important gathering in Washington. And we wanted Ali Reza, Jeff Sardardi, our expert on Iran. Is he ready? Ali Reza, would you just please tell everybody about tomorrow so that if they're in the vicinity of Washington, D.C., they can come?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry. Yes. First of all, great pleasure to be on your show again, Mayor. And
thank you.
Tomorrow is an important day because the Iranian Americans are coming from all over the United States to the nation's capital, right next to the Senate building, Senate Russell building. It's called the Senate Upper Park, right near the Capitol. That's where everybody is gathering. The event starts at 11:30 for roughly about an hour, and then they will start marching on Pennsylvania Avenue with the Capitol building on their background, and they will go down the Pennsylvania Avenue and back to the Capitol to send a message basically to the Iranian regime that every single day the Iranians, the same way that they are, paying the price for freedom in Iran all over the world. Also, the same thing is happening also here in Washington, but also send a message to the members of Congress, to the U.S. government, to the policymakers, to the American public, that there is an alternative to the Iranian regime. At the end of the day, change will happen on the ground in Iran, and that's the story that they want to relay. Among the participants, there are people who have lost family members, there are people who have been in prison, in the jails, people who experience prisons in the Shah's jails, as well as the mullah's jails, clearly showing that the future belongs to a situation in Iran that there's no dictatorship of any kind, whether monarchical or clerical. The future belongs to democracy and freedom. We're going to have different sectors of the society, people with all kinds of backgrounds, nationalities, the Baluchis, Azeris, the Kurdish people are going to be there. Actually, the representative of the Kurdish Democratic Party of Iran will be speaking at the rally, making it very clear that we have a united nation in our country who wants.
This is obviously very, very different than the baby Shah, who doesn't have any support from the ethnic minority. In fact, he sort of almost declared. It's like he declared war on some of the Kurds.
He did.
About 3 or 4 days ago, he said if he would have to push them out if they tried to be part of the coalition.
Actually, he called them separatists, and instead of welcoming the unity of various Kurdish parties, he attacked them, called them separatists. He asked the Iranian army, I don't know which army he's talking about, to go and suppress them. Before even having a seat at the table, he's already calling for the suppression of the Kurds, exactly the same way that his father and his grandfather suppressed the Kurds, and exactly the same way that the mullahs did that. So he's really making it very clear that the same way that everyone referred to him as the son of the Shah, he truly represents a dictatorship that was swept out of power with a fascist mentality. And he just simply represents that. And I think the true color of Reza Pahlavi was shown in the past 2 weeks when he went after the Kurdish people, who are some of the most deprived people, who badly repressed over the years, and all they're asking is their own rights within the territorial integrity of Iran, to be able to practice like any other country, any other nation, any other nationality anywhere in the world, to be able to speak their language, to keep their culture, and you know, be part of the Iran as they have been for decades.
Well, good luck tomorrow. We'll be in touch, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much,
We'll
Mayor.
certainly be
Appreciate
covering
that.
it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
And good luck. God bless you.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Maria.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're going to make sure that we have it. We have everything covered correctly. There she is. There's Dr. Maria.
So it's good to be with you, Mayor Giuliani, and it's good to see Ali Reza. He really is an expert in all things Iran. And this is an important message, what he said. I hope your audience really had their ears perked up, because Fox News is pushing Pahlavi as if they were paid off. Every show is talking about him taking over. Laura Trump has him coming up on The View, her show on Fox, and they've practically anointed this guy who says he can partner with the Revolutionary Guard. There's no partnering with the Revolutionary Guard.
And he wants to kick out the Kurds
And he wants to kick
who
out
helped us
Yeah.
and saved our lives. And he's done nothing ever in his life to help. He's never been there when we were protesting and almost got killed twice. Where was he? He was using all the money his old man stole from Iran to be fat and happy.
I was going to bring that up, Mayor. This man has not worked a day in his life, and he lives like a king, or as he calls himself, a crown prince.
You know why Fox is supporting him?
Yeah, I do. But let's see what you think. Oh, yep, absolutely.
I mean, all the little automatons who do what they're told by Murdoch are supporting him for all kinds of bullshit reasons. But this is the real reason.
Yeah.
And that's why he got the same establishment behind him that put Shah 1 in.
Mm.
That's when the British Petroleum Company stole the Iranian oil. You know, the Iranians were getting 5% of their oil from the British.
Unbelievable.
British Petroleum is one of the biggest misnomers. It's like a 1984 communist misspeak.
Mm.
It wasn't British Petroleum. It was Iranian Petroleum.
Yeah, absolutely.
That the Brits stole. Then the CIA helped the Brits do it. The Brits needed it back in 1952. The prime minister gained a great deal of power against Shah II, who was a murderer and a thief, but a weakling. Shah I was a murderer, a thief, illiterate, and very strong. Shah II was much better educated, but he was a weakling, indecisive, but a murderer and a thief.
Yeah.
All the money that this guy lives off comes out of the mouths of the Iranian people.
That's right.
And they sold the country out to Britain and the United States.
Yeah.
People
don't know that history, unfortunately.
We're not angels. We were stealing from them too. American oil companies. The big difference then when we helped put Shah II in is the American oil companies got in there with the British and stole Iranian oil, which is why they hated us.
Yeah. You know, as Americans, we should be very concerned about our own CIA as well and what they do to manipulate the press, the narrative. They help put in some of the worst people. They back some of the worst people. I just think we need to let the Iranian people speak, and we shouldn't be doing this propaganda.
Yeah, and the idea, and then they keep writing in the owned and operated newspapers that the Iranian people support the Shah.
No.
The regime supports the Shah.
Yeah.
They don't support the Shah like they want him in. They support the Shah because they know if they can create buzz about the Shah, they're going to hold back the dissidents, because the dissidents are going to say, why do we want to? We want to get rid of the present guy who's killing us to go back to the old guy who used to kill us. And it would maybe mean something if the guy had done something, meaning Shah III, the baby Shah, had done something. But his only claim is that he's the son of a murderer.
Yeah. Right. The
only claim he has, he's never fought for them. he's never demonstrated that I ever saw in a situation where they were threatening to kill him, like we have several times. He's never spoken up for them in a meaningful way, except among the jet set.
Yeah.
Well, in any event, what do you think? Where do you think we are right now?
I think we're doing really well. And I heard your conversation on your previous show about the air superiority that we have. And I think a lot is thankfully due to our partner in this, Israel. Israel, again, did some strategic strikes last night, hitting the bunker of Khomeini, even though he's dead. We don't know if his successor or potential successors were in that bunk. So they blew it apart. Combined with the United States and Israel, that we've hit over 3,000 sites in Iran, and Israel alone has hit 500 in Lebanon, hitting Hezbollah. So this, I think, is going very, very well. I think the drones are of some concern. We're learning to deal with that a little bit better. Blowing up that warship that was sending them out is good, but they do fly below radar, and they've been hurting their neighbors like Bahrain and other neighboring countries. And they're indiscriminate, right? They do not care about hitting an apartment building or a hotel with a lot of foreign guests. They don't care. They're not going after military sites. They're hateful, bad regime. But I think, 2 weeks time.
Well, the Ukrainians are sending us some of their advanced anti-drone equipment that has been very, very effective against the Russians.
They should, Rudy, since we gave them $187 billion to Ukraine. They should have top level stuff.
Still.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than Britain was doing.
Yeah.
We've given Britain a lot of money too. They won't let us fly from their airfields.
No. And, we now, think of...
they may have changed their minds about that, but...
he's changed. Sharmer is changing his mind a tad bit, saying, I didn't want to be in the initial raid, but who knows? It leaked out of a meeting he was in with his compatriots that there's even further left people in England saying, no, we can't stay in this at all. So.
Well, I mean, the reality is that that's a black mark in the relationship that we had for them that's going to last forever. I'll just never feel the same about him.
Yeah.
I mean, Ronald Reagan told me that this is why the basis for my relationship with Israel, the beginning of it at least. He said that everybody in America bases the relationship in politics on politics. The Jewish vote. He said, this is much bigger than that. He said, of course I care about the Jewish vote, but I care about America more. I would do anything Israel wanted within, obviously, the law, because Israel will do anything I want. And there's a history of our supporting each other in things that nobody will ever know. That's what a friend is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have very few friends in life that will do that for you. Yeah. You have very few governments that can do it. And I think he mentioned England at the time because of Margaret Thatcher. I think he mentioned England and Israel.
Mm.
Well, now we're down to one.
Yeah. Wasn't that a powerful force? Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and Pope John Paul.
Well, that did away with communism.
Yeah, there you go.
The Iranian Shahed drones are the ones that the Russians are using to counter so the Ukrainians got the lead on drones. The Russians over a year caught up, but they had the Iranians producing it for them, the Shahed drones. So, and now the Ukrainians have caught up, and they have some pretty good laser defenses against the Shahed. And that's what they're going to share with us.
Nice.
But here's the important thing to know. Ultimately, a war of this magnitude does not get won with drones. It gets won with 30,000-pound bombs.
Yeah.
This is a big war.
Yeah.
And the difference between what a drone can do and one American fighter is a difference between taking out one building or an apartment in a building and taking out 6 blocks. So
yeah.
The drones are
What's your prediction, Mayor? How long this will go? And I know it's hard. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what's your gut instinct with around approximately how long this is going to last?
I have a hard time seeing it lasting more than four weeks.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
I agree.
Really
What's going to be left?
There won't be anything left.
Yeah.
And it won't be that we're going to destroy. There's no reason to destroy. There's no reason to do what they do, what the Russians do,
Yeah, right.
and what the Iranians do. No, notice the Israelis, the Americans, and the Ukrainians do not do this. We hit military targets that defang them, make them impotent, like the new Ayatollah is impotent.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't know that?
And why should I know
the
that?
The son of the Ayatollah, had to have 4 procedures before he could conceive a child. And it was the British procedure that allowed him to conceive, which I kind of resent also. This guy shouldn't have really been allowed to reproduce himself.
Yeah.
But tragically, I guess, because the kid, you can't blame quite yet, but his kid is dead and his wife is dead. He's the only miserable creep that's still alive.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be for long.
I don't think it'll be for long.
But and who knows? He may have gone. You never know. He may have gone down today. He may have gotten taken out today.
Yeah, we can't identify everybody who's been taken out, but obviously there are some people we haven't identified that we may have taken out. One that I've been curious about is Ali Larijani, you know, the former Supreme Leader, named him. He said, if something happens to me, I'm not naming my son right now, probably to protect his son, though. I think that was a little bit strategic that he ended up saying, I want this Ali Langrini to take over in the interim. So he may have been taken out. He may have not. We know at least 5 to 6 potential successors. Some we haven't seen in a bit. Did we take them out? That time will tell.
Well, it takes a few days to catch up on the damage that they did because they do so much damage. I mean, these are. When they compare them to the drone. There's nothing like what is going on there's nothing like what is going on in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. If Russia had the military ability that we have, within 2 months, they would have taken all of Ukraine, the whole thing. It would have been all theirs. Ukraine couldn't have done a damn thing about it. And we've only used about half of our really most complex equipment. Mm-hmm. There are things that we haven't even come close to using that Pete teases with every once in a while.
Yeah.
But the Helios missile can get drones, and you shoot that from a submarine. You can't even see it coming, and it can take a drone out.
It's amazing.
It can take a drone out a couple thousand miles away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
You know, thank God you know how Ronald Reagan rebuilt the military, and then Clinton, it kind of fell apart. There was no money invested in our military, and Obama really didn't help with that either. And then Trump's first term starts reinvesting. We had a lot of issues under the Bush administration with faulty equipment. You know that after 9/11, when we had the war on terror, everybody was complaining about the Jeeps not being armored enough and all kinds of problems. So we finally, in Trump's first term, had a president who invested in the military. Let's face it, we are in a chaotic world. We cannot sit blindly and say, oh, I wish for peace in harmony. We have to protect our people. We are a sovereign nation. So just seeing our technology and our brilliance shine with our military, especially the Air Force. I think I've always admired the Israeli Air Force.
The Air Force, and now also we have the Space Force.
Yes.
Which has done, even develops even more complex systems. Just to give you an example, a Tomahawk missile being fired from a United States ship, and we fired a large number of them, has a warhead of 1,000 pounds. The typical Iranian drone, 88 pounds.
Yeah.
88 pounds.
Yeah.
Meaning the thing that's hitting you from the American airplane is 10 times more powerful, more than 10 times more powerful than the drone. Now, the drone will kill you.
Yes.
But it'll kill 2, 3, 4 of you.
Yeah.
Except
they've been using
the missile
it against,
will wipe out the entire military installation.
Yeah.
There'll be no more airfield. Bye-bye airfield. You had an airfield, now you don't have an airfield. You had a launching site, now you don't have a launching site. As of yesterday, half of their launching sites are gone. Half. By us. We don't know how many Israel's got. So once those launching sites are gone, I don't know what they're going to be able to do.
I don't either. And Centrom has made a decision that they're not going to do real-time videos where we can actually see from the cockpit the site and the site blown up. They're going to wait 96 hours. And they're doing that to help us. So Iran doesn't know, oh, they're now firing on my Western front or my Eastern front.
Yeah, well, that was one of the dumbest things that started, I don't know when we started embedding reporters.
Oh, reporters
as if we're fighting a war.
Remember when Geraldo Rivera did that? He literally made a map in the sand and said, here, this is where we are in Iraq.
I remember the CNN reporter who ran off the set with his helmet on, and there was nobody there. I didn't blame him, but I just never understood the idea of embedding reporters. We're conducting this war for television.
It's really odd.
Or isn't there something more important than television?
But I have to say, that's gone back to the Civil War time. We wouldn't have had the great pictures by somebody with the last name of Bradley if it wasn't for that we allowed reporters to follow and come into the battlefields.
Pictures are one thing, and they should be allowed to do it. It doesn't interfere.
Right.
But
absolutely.
I mean, suppose we had real great pictures, but we lost the Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pictures wouldn't have been worth very much by losing.
Today's fast-paced internet.
Or we're going to have great pictures of this war, but the Ayatollah is going to control the world.
Yeah. You know, when we talk about journalists being embedded, I can't help but think of Hamas when they attacked Israel on October 7th. That people, including CNN reporters, never warned anybody. They were taking selfies with the Hamas people. To this day, that makes me sick to my stomach. That American journalists did not warn. They had to know what was going to happen.
Well, that's a big difference between the modern press and the Second World War. The journalists that covered the Second World War were Americans fighting for us. So if they had a fight, they would fight.
Yeah.
And which is the way it should be. They're Americans before they're reporters.
Yeah. Amen.
Well, I don't know how we've ever let this Ayatollah exist for this long.
47 years.
If you think about it, and this is one of the reasons why having a decisive president is so important. And I will never, ever understand why Ronald Reagan didn't take him out. And I love Ronald Reagan. I've worked for him. I loved him. From the day they took.
Early then, though?
No, it was not. It was actually the right time.
Well, did he? Okay.
He had nothing then. He had nothing. He didn't have nuclear weapons. He didn't have weapons. He didn't have arms.
But did they show their? Well, I guess so. I guess, yeah.
It was because it's because we have been brainwashed about the Muslim religion. We don't have any understanding of how utterly barbaric it is, how it is a cult of death. And in order to be a good Muslim, you have to just rip out half of the Quran and all of the Hadith. He was a mass murderer.
Muhammad.
A mass murderer. I mean, he didn't kill one or two people. He killed thousands and thousands and thousands of people. He spread his religion by death and destruction, not by preaching. He didn't have a Moses or a St. Paul. He was a pedophile. He did wait until she was 9 years old before he had sex with her. But so I guess he wasn't such a bad pedophile. and and he was a massive thief, like they are. I mean, you had a choice. You either became a Muslim, or he killed you. And then after a while, he developed a third one. I guess it must have been the mafia influence. He'd take money from you. And isn't that what they do?
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they
and
live
the
high on the
Ayatollah, and then you have people who talk about the Muslim religion and say he was the perfect man. And they'll say it was a religion of peace. Even President Bush said that after 9/11. I was there in Congress, and I had, fortunately or unfortunately, as a 19-year-old, read all about the Muslim religion in a comparative religion course. And when he said it was a religion of peace, I almost fell out of my chair.
Mm.
I said, Mr. President, are you crazy?
It's a propaganda.
Because I knew when they were hitting my buildings that it was a Muslim attack. And I knew for sure inside those airplanes, they're yelling Allah Akbar. Mm-hmm. That would be like saying I'm flying a plane into a building and saying, Hail Jesus. So
nothing peaceful about that, Mayor.
Nothing peaceful about it. And you take a look at what they're doing in Europe, or go down to Texas, and we better wake up.
Texas is in trouble.
How about we got to do this? Wake up. And that doesn't mean there aren't Muslims that are very good people. There are. Their problem is they're extremely defensive, and they won't. I don't know. When do you see it? You see a few. You see a few. And you know what's going on in Iran? That's actually interesting. Many of them are leaving the religion. The converts to Christianity in Iran are massive. Massive.
That's
the young
really
people.
good.
The young people have rejected the religion because look what it
gives them. Yeah.
Look what it's resulted in. It results in the women with the things over their head.
Yeah. Oppression, poverty.
Yeah.
Some of them have to sell their
kidneys. It isn't as if the
Yeah.
Ayatollah made this up. This is 1,400 years old. The Ayatollah is just doing what I've read to you from the Quran. He's just reading it.
Yeah. Well, you said one of the neighboring countries there, you've met with the king of Bahrain.
Well, Bahrain is
a lot of
Bahrain is a
Christians
beautiful country.
Yeah,
Bahrain,
a lot of Christians there.
Bahrain I don't know if this has changed. I was there 8 years ago. Bahrain was the only Arab country to allow churches and synagogues to put their insignia out. In other words, the cross and the Star of David. Oh, wow. So you could have a church in Qatar. You could have a church in Dubai. I'm not sure about in Abu Dhabi, but you couldn't mark it as a church. You have your building, but you couldn't put a cross. You could have your building, but you couldn't put a Star of David. Now, I think that's changed in Dubai. I think that's changed in Dubai, but it's always been true in Bahrain. And even as of 8 years ago, Bahrain had already had a Jewish woman as ambassador to the United Nations, and two in government.
Wow.
And the king. Do you have my picture of me and the king?
It's in the other room. Oh, do you have it?
The king is the coolest guy you ever met. The king of Bahrain, who's probably worth 10. That's him right there.
There he is.
See? That looked like a king. You can come around and see it. Hey, look, there's the king. Can you see the king?
Who's in the background in that picture? Is that his daddy? Or who's?
That's the king of Bahrain.
No. Isn't that the king right there?
That's the king.
Yeah, but who's the picture in the background there?
Oh, I don't know. I can't even see. The other guy in it is me.
No. Yeah, I know that. I've seen another picture of you in the King of Bahrain that's in your library.
Is it a more formal one?
No. He looks like he's in a jogging
No. He was in a golf
golf outfit. Yeah.
I met him not at the palace, but at a golf course.
Yeah, I love that.
He's a great golfer.
Yeah.
And of course that country is being brutalized right now.
Yeah.
Iran particularly hates that country for several reasons. First of all, they're very modern Muslims. They disagree with So what they do basically, which you can do, they just say that all that stuff is old. It's the terrible old past, and we read that out, and we're going to take the good parts of it, and we'll concentrate just on that. because there was a good part to Muhammad, and that was the first half of his life before he was rejected. And his message was a much more benign one, and one that you can follow without, without killing anybody. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Tim Rivers, who has done research and work that is so important to American history that I am enormously impressed, and I'm very anxious to have you all listen to it. We'll be right back. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Welcome back. This is America's Mayor Live. We're in Palm Beach. They're in Tehran. And hopefully soon we're going to be in Tehran. Free. This is a very, very enormously important work to keep alive and to historically record what might be the worst chapter in our history with regard to human rights and the dignity of human beings. Many people thought the internment of the Japanese during the Second World War might have been that period of time. I will tell you that I am absolutely certain that it was the internment of the people that were accused of insurrection on January 6th. From the night that it happened, I knew it was a completely orchestrated event by the left wing, by the Democrats. Had been in the making for at least 4 or 5 months. It was heavily involved. Some of the groups that did the demonstrations all during that summer. What was it? Almost 100 of them, and 30, 40 people dead, 2,000 people sent to the hospitals, police officers being shot and killed at record numbers. financed by people like Soros and left-wing nihilists, and also supported very heavily by the district attorneys they had all over America, who were letting people out, district attorneys that Soros paid to put there. And then they orchestrated January 6th and had the corrupt media on their side. A man named Tim Rivers, who you're going to see in a moment, is a native of Florida. He's a retired IT engineer, and he's a Fortune 100 executive. And he's a writer. And in 2021, he began writing letters of support to January 6th prisoners. And together with Marie Goodwin, a J6 mother and activist, they created a J6 Patriot News. And then they put together these 3 volumes, the American Gulag Chronicles. One of them is called The Road to Freedom. The second one is The Art of Confinement. And the third is Letters from Prison. And we have with us, we're very honored to have with us, Tim Rivers, because my concern about this is that it is erased from history by the people who engaged in massive censorship, the worst censorship in the history of America, maybe of the West. And you know it better than anyone. How did you get the idea to do this, Tim, and tell us about this? This is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant and beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, beautiful in the sense of what you did, terrible in the sense of what you're capturing here.
Yeah, The Road to Freedom is actually the last book, as it makes sense, right? Because after 4 years of confinement, groups of advocates like myself and people like David Summerall and Suzanne Monk basically engineered the pardons and handed President Trump the blueprint to let these people free when he signed it in. But going all the way back to the beginning is a letter. Mayor, one letter.
Is that the first book, the Letters from Prison?
Yeah, and that's how I got started. I was working election integrity. I was shocked in November, as you can imagine, with doing some work with the teams that were supported by Mike Lindell. And when they started sweeping people up, I met a number of people who were families of these people who had been taken in horrible raids right here in my neighborhood in Florida, just, miles from my home, in huge SWAT raids with Bearcats. And it's a horrific kind of thing for folks that were simply walking around with a Trump hat and a flag. And I wrote to one of these people, just one letter.
You wrote to one of the prisoners?
Yes, sir, I did. I drew their name out of a hat from the Patriot Mail Project, which was keeping track of where they were being sent and letting America know what was happening to them. And that was part of our job at J6 Patriot News. And so I grabbed just a name. I didn't even know who it was. I wrote this gentleman a letter, my wife and I did, and we received a 4-page reply that just knocked me completely for a loop because it was an American war hero, a former Ranger who successfully, finished his tour, cashiered out. 9/11 came along, sir, as you well know, and back he goes and becomes a Green Beret, serves out his entire career. He's a retired, decorated Green Beret. And then for the last 10 or 15 years, have been working with State Department doing protective services for diplomats and all kinds of people. And here he is sitting in the DC gulag, being tortured, thrown into solitary confinement, denied food, left naked for days, not able to talk to his attorney, denied, the stories in Letters from Prison are hard to read.
I still, as an American and as a person who was a lawyer in the federal system for, I think 50 years.
Yeah.
Since disbarred because I represented Donald Trump. It's hard for me to believe that this could happen. And I'll tell you when I really believed it, Tim, when I appeared before the chief judge of the DC district, and I saw how patently unfair she was to me. I mean, she basically didn't give me a trial, and was looking for every excuse to put me in jail for contempt. And then when I had to go back and argue before her, I couldn't get a judge. I couldn't get a lawyer to represent me.
No.
Even friends, they were afraid. They said, "I'll represent you in another case." We're afraid to go before her. And I don't mind telling you what they said. She's bloodthirsty.
Yeah,
so,
and
but what happened? How did that happen? You just said that they were in prison with no clothes on. How could
Well,
that
yeah,
happen
they throw
in the
you.
federal prison system that I used to run during the Reagan administration?
This is not the federal prison system
I
yet.
know
So
it isn't.
yeah, the beauty of it is it's inside the DC, which is controlled by Congress, so they could fix it anytime they wanted to, but they don't have the will. And what was happening, these people were placed in solitary confinement. They had a special pod set aside for them. I think the letters tell it for real. And Mayor, my biggest concern is there seems to be this mentality that if you don't like our history, we can just erase it. We can just tear down our monuments. We can just throw away the documents. We can forget about the hard lessons that were paid in blood and strife. And I think that the last 10 years has shown us how willing certain people are to remove what is the most important parts of our country, which is the hard lessons that we've learned and the advances that we've made through those lessons. And I think these people have a lot to teach you as an American citizen about duty, patriotism, about faith, about loyalty to your country, even though it's persecuting you and imprisoning you. It comes through in these letters because that's as close as you can get to these men who are behind these bars, is through their letters. And so supporters write them and they write back, just like that letter I got from Mr. McKellop. And I got so many
and
of
that
these
letter
letters.
that letter got you started. Is that really?
You can read that letter in book 1. It's one of the first letters you'll encounter because it's how it started for me and for so many others who work diligently. For 4 years, I've had a staff of volunteers who transcribe, collect, and help me write these letters, put them into order, collate them, and then finally publish them. Amazing volunteers. All of this has been done without a single person taking any monetary gain.
God bless you.
They do it for patriotism.
I mean that as a prayer.
They do it for patriotism. And I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned. You think you know everything. Oh, you've made it. You had this great career. You've been an executive. You boss people around. You handle $1 million. It really has nothing to do with the duty that lies within each of us as citizens. And I think these people have taught me something that I thought I knew in my 64, 65 years when this all started, but which I was absolutely ignorant. And that is the requirement for each of us to be a founding father, to be willing to put our lives and our lives on hold. And in some cases, to my great regret, to sometimes have to prioritize your country and your duty ahead of your personal desire and family. And that is a hard thing to do, trust me. And these people have done it in a way that is transcendent. In that first book, it's hard because it's the beginning, the torture, the realization that they'll never see justice, that they can't even get a bond, can't get an attorney, can't see their families, can't have religious service, can't shave, can't shower. Listen, what happened to these people is worse than a third world POW camp.
So the people carrying this out in prison, the prison officials, right?
Yes, they are.
What made them so insane? I understand the press. My gosh, I've been dealing with them forever. The 80% of the American press. And I understand the Marxism and the training they got and how they turned against America and how somehow to feel smart, you have to hate America. Yeah. People who get goosebumps from the national anthem, they consider stupid. And when I grew up with them, I fought with them all my life. But prison officials letting people, torturing people in an American prison?
I had them try to put an American war hero who killed jihadis from an A-10 Warthog cockpit, try to place him in what we call jihadi jail so that he would have an accident. I mean, there's some pretty horrific things that are revealed in these 3 books. I think they're a missive to America about how broken our system of justice had become and how destructive and decrepit our Bureau of Prisons is. It is corrupt beyond belief. Anyway, I kind of felt, Rudy, that just like you, some of the things that have happened to these people, some of the things that have happened to Americans, good Americans, are being buried. The records are erased. The shredders are running night and day. What is left for the next generation of patriots to remember this as? When the Senate puts up a plaque that says 150 police officers who were horribly attacked during an insurrection and codifies a lie within the people's house. These are things that I think are dangerous to the next generation because we lay a minefield of fault.
No question about it. Now, how do people get this book, Tim?
Oh, they get all three of them because you need to see the whole story. And let me just, well, before I jump to that, we are a nonprofit. I founded nonprofit organization, the American Gulag Chronicles, to print these books. The money from the books has been going to help J6ers and save their families for 4 years. Now the money will go to preserve the evidence, and not just in the books, but as Dr. Maria helped me talk about the other day,
yes,
we have a J6 panel of inquiry where we've taken testimony under sworn witnesses. We have videos, documentaries. We have the only certified investigator by the DOJ who has seen all the video. This is some amazing evidence, and if it isn't preserved, all anybody's going to remember in the future is the lie that's been generated for 4 years and spoken over and over and over again about you, about Bannon, about Navarro, about President Trump, and about the J6ers. So I hope that this codifies it in a way that gets passed. And when you buy these books at lettersfromprison.us, it's real easy. The first title of the book, lettersfromprison.us, your purchase is tax deductible, and that money goes to help us preserve the evidence in the National J6 Archive. And it'll actually have a research tool available so that people in the future will be able to find out the truth for themselves. Not listen to a narrative or have somebody tell them what happened, but actually get immersed in the action itself and see the evidence for yourself and then make up your own minds so that history doesn't become a lie.
Well, that's wonderful. Letters from prison.
.us.
.us. Can you just very briefly tell us your background? I mean, how did you get to this? What did you do before this that brought you to this?
Oh my goodness! Well, I was an IT engineer. I started.
I know that. Yeah.
I started in cryptology. I worked with the military for most of my career, both at Honeywell and IBM. I ended as a regional manager and executive for southeastern U.S. and the Caribbean. And basically, I was retired. Really, I was chasing the golf ball, missing the greens and the fairways. And doing the gardening stuff, doing what retirees are supposed to be doing at 64. I retired early, had a small security business that I just puttered with. And then the election, I got involved in election integrity. I got involved in COVID, fighting that. My wife and I were on street corners. Then we got involved in election integrity with Mike Lindell in Defend Florida. Then we got basically knocked out of our orbit by that letter and became the J6 archiver. And that's what we've been doing now for almost 5 years, through our movies at the 1A Film Festival, through these books, through the documentaries. So much evidence that the public will never see unless we preserve it, because some very powerful people and institutions, as you know, Mayor, wouldn't like you to never see this information.
What I'd like to do is have you think about focusing on one situation that we can show to people and do and do just one show on that. You know, one that just brings it out, and maybe do a couple of those so that I can show them to my audience.
I would love to do that. And I think what's the most powerful thing is the letters are first person testimony, but wait till you hear these people do it in the panel of inquiry where they're talking to you directly. That's really hard to deny when all these stories correlate.
No, but we're gonna read through it, and we'll be back in touch with you, and we will keep urging people to buy these and start making themselves knowledgeable about it.
And become the historians. When you hold these books, you're the historian.
Yeah, and you're defeating the worst thing that has happened to us in terms of our constitutional history, the deprivation of our right of free speech, and a terrible period of time.
But it's been a great honor to serve during that. I'm sure you feel the same way. Despite the trauma, it's been an honor to serve during this time.
I feel that way too. My son will say that of the various things that I've done, the most important thing is what I've done now with President Trump and with the 2020 election, and I think he's right.
And I feel the same way about my work too. I think we've done the country a service, and we should be proud of that in our lives.
Well, God bless you. We'll
Thank
be
you,
in touch. I'm very, very honored to have had you on, and I'm urging all of my listeners to get their hands on. I just got them today. I just got them like about 2 hours before the show. So unlike usually when I interview, I wasn't able to read it. So we'll go back and do another one on this where we can go into greater detail. There's almost nothing I could say. Almost nothing I can say because to this day I don't understand this. I know it happened. I know it's worse than I even realize, and worse than I can possibly describe. So it's going to take a long time to be able to comprehend this and explain it in a way that you can, maybe you'll never understand it. You just have to deal with it. So this weekend, as I said, there'll be a gathering in Washington for those people who can go. It would be a terrific thing to see. It'll be mainly Ukrainian expats or who are now in many cases American citizens. Iranians. What did I say? Oh, I said Ukrainians. I'm thinking about the other people who need to be delivered from being tortured by another monster, Putin. So the Iranian people will be there. I assume there'll be speeches. I'm sure Madame Rajavi will speak. You should hear her because she's the person who could actually pull this together, including pull together the minorities, the country of Iran. And very, very interesting. We've interviewed so many people from Iran. And if you're a Persian Iranian, as most of them are that we have on, like Ali Reza and some others, they'll say that the ethnic minorities are about 34%. Now, if you or 38%, 38%. Now, if you interview one of the ethnic minorities, the Azeris or the Kurds or the Baluchis, they'll tell you it's 48%. Or maybe 49. I've even had some say it was 51%. From the best I can tell on my own research, it's 48%. So the country is 51, 52%. Very vague definition of native Persian. They were Persians before they were captured by Muhammad, not by Muhammad, by his the second caliph and the third caliph, his two immediate successors, were generals and murderers like he was. And they crossed over the little body of water that separates Saudi Arabia from Persia, a very big body of water because they spent centuries hating each other. And they proceeded to practice genocide against the Zoroastrian religion. The Zoroastrian religion was a pagan religion, but it was kind of an advanced pagan religion. It had a great deal of science built into it and a great deal of astronomy built into it, and a certain amount of pagan insanity. But it had a lot of brilliant people. The Muslims, on the command of the perfect man, Muhammad, proceeded to eliminate the Zoroastrian religion. It rejuvenated itself outside of Iran. So right now, there are a couple of million Zoroastrians left in the world. But the whole group of them were slaughtered. Those Persians who agreed to give up their religion and become Muslims were allowed to survive. Now, this is the civilization of King Cyrus, and this is the part of the world right near the Euphrates River where civilization supposedly began. This Persia is, of course, very much figured in the Bible. The Feast of Purim that took place just a couple of days ago is a feast about delivery from a Persian who wanted to commit genocide, Haran, against the Jewish people. Does history repeat itself? And because of Esther, who married the king saved them, and they lived for some period of time in freedom and in luxury in Persia until the Babylonian captivity, and you can go on and on and on. But there's a great history here that was wiped out by the Muslims. And then they became a different type of Muslim. They became a Shiite. And that's a dispute between the descendants of Muhammad. The Shia, which the Persians are, believe that the caliph has to be a descendant of Muhammad. The Sunnis, and that would be the Saudi Arabians, believe he should be elected. So that's going to figure itself now in the selection of the Ayatollah, because they should be selecting someone that at least theoretically they believe descends from Muhammad, because this is the Shia form of but they're not certain that that's going to be the case. So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you posted on it. The Kurdish involvement in this war would be of enormous help. They are involved. The 6 Kurdish Iranian groups have gotten together and written a document in which they agree that they will be part of Iran, and that if they get a certain degree of autonomy for their region, which they have had on and off from the Ayatollahs. The Ayatollahs have given him the autonomy, taken it away, given it, taken it away. They wanted it made permanent, but they would be part of the overall government of Iran. Caveat, not if the baby Shah is put in government. They cannot live with the fact that his father slaughtered large numbers of them, as he did the Azeris and the Baluchis. He basically was a mini Ayatollah, right? I mean, he wasn't as bad as the Ayatollah. I love this. Things weren't as bad as they are with the Ayatollah. You know, he only killed 10,000 people a year, and the Ayatollah killed 100. I guess if you're one of the 10,000, it really doesn't matter, right? And disproportionately, he went after the ethnic minorities. The Shah did. The other problem with the Shah was he was a complete and absolute thief. He walked out of Iran with everything that you could pick up, and his wife, followed him with all the jewelry you could have. And that's why Baby Shah has never had to work a day in his life. We're going to start getting a sort of a epidemic of these people who have never worked, like the mayor of New York, right? I mean, it used to be that you had to prove yourself for public office. You had to do something. But since Obama, the community activist, we haven't had to be qualified. Right? Qualifications don't mean anything. Look at AOC. AOC was a bartender. We don't even know if she was a good bartender. I was a bartender. I mean, I wasn't a good one. So, I mean, she should at least have to take a mixed drink test to see if she can do that. If she obviously doesn't know government. I think she once got the number of states wrong. She got the articles of the Constitution reversed. And then, of course, she just went on the foreign stage and proved that she could be dumber than Kamala Harris, which is I'm not sure. That would require a debate, except you wouldn't be able to understand what they were saying, right? Tell us about Iran and Iraq. Iran is a bigger country.
She wouldn't know that.
And Iraq is a small country. And it's very interesting that they're almost spelled the same. So they must be deeply related. Oh, and what are you going to do about the war in Iran? Well, we're going to think about it, and we're going to have conversations about it. They always have conversations about things, but they never do anything. So let's pray for the people of Iran, who hopefully will suffer very, very few casualties, because the good people of Iran don't deserve this. And let's hope this gets over with quickly. And let's hope we have no more casualties, and pray for that. And pray for the people of Israel, who are undergoing bombardment again. They're doing a very good job of protecting themselves. That doesn't mean they aren't having some casualties. And it doesn't mean that can remain like right now. It's moving in the right direction. The capacity of the enemy has been reduced dramatically, but a war isn't over until it's over, and this one has to be a full and complete destruction of the regime of terror. So it needs a very, very definitive result. Pray for the people of Ukraine and thank them for helping us. Yes, we did give them a lot of money, but they're in terrible straits, and to come and help us with dealing with these drones is really a beautiful thing. It's a lot better than our old friend Britain was willing to do for us. And pray for the people of the United States, of course, and for our president, who's going to have another weekend that's going to be a weekend of very difficult decisions. So give him the help and the strength and the guidance that he's going to need. We know you preserved him for us, so we know you're going to take care of him. So we'll see you on Monday. You go to Lindell TV now and watch Dr. Maria. She has a show for between 9 and 10, and we'll be back on Monday, and we'll be back over the weekend if anything happens. Okay? God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given common sense. So let's do it.